The first 1,000 years of the Third Age saw Gondor grow in might. Her lands extended from the havens of Umbar in the south, the shores of the Sea of Rhûn in the east, up to the Golden Wood in the north and the far edge of the White Mountains in the west. It was truly massive and far greater than any other realm in Middle-earth at the time. Gondor's decline was the culmination of many things really, but we will today be discussing just one of them. And thank you for the suggestion for the topic of this video in the comments of the last week's video, so nice one. Hello everybody, and this is the channel Gone with Gandalf, and this is the Friday Lore video.
The first disaster was a struggle caused by racists, but to fully understand how this happened, we need to go over some of the immediate history. Gondor had been beset by the Easterlings, and these were harrying the Northmen of Rhovanion. To establish security, the regent of Gondor, Eldacar, set out to sort it out. And in the Third Age 1248, he defeated their army on the plains of Rhovanion before going even to the east of the Sea of Rhûn to destroy their encampments. For these victories, he was named Rhomendasil, or East Victor. Nice one, lad. To show retained interest in the region after the victory, Rhomendasil sent his son, Eldacar, to the king of the region, Vidugavia, as an ambassador a couple of years later, and during his 10 years there, Eldacar married the daughter of Vidugavia and had a child.
This probably was not a secret to Rhomendasil. He probably sanctioned the marriage so as to not anger his new ally, but he probably didn't foresee the issues that would arise in his own lands as a consequence.
Rhomendasil did die after 126 years of rule, and also there were no real issues during the reign of Eldacar either, who was the 20th king of Gondor, who ruled for 66 years, and the Northmen of Rhovanion, they remained steadfast allies of the kingdom, but his death in Third Age 1432 made his son king, Eldacar. Eldacar, who had been born of the Princess of Rhovanion during the time his father had been stationed there as an ambassador. There were nobles of Gondor who feared that the line of kings should not be stained by the filth of Northman blood, and the Númenórean traits of long life and greater stature, amongst other gifts, would be lost. The actual quotation for this is, "The high men of Gondor already looked askance at the Northmen among them, and it was a thing unheard of before that the heir of the crown, or any son of the king, should wed one of lesser and alien race. A rebellion was stirred from the unrest. The leader was Castamir, the captain of ships, and he was the second cousin of the new king, and when the civil war broke out, it was thereafter named the Kin Strife for this reason."
For the first time, Gondor was in conflict from within, and in Third Age 1437, the capital Osgiliath was besieged, with the king within.
Great ruin befell the city, and the Dome of Stars, situated amidst the Anduin, was destroyed, and the chief palantir housed within was also lost to the river, never to be recovered. Eldacar was able to escape though, and fled to Rhovanion, the land of his mother and staunch ally. Over the next 10 years, Castamir would rule Gondor. However, as he was the Lord of Ships, he was no lover of the actual land of Gondor, with his main support coming from the havens of Pelargir and Umbar. He was a poor administrator, such that the people of Gondor began to realise that this is not someone who they wished to support as their leader, particularly when he cruelly killed the son of the exiled Eldacar and vandalised the capital city greater than necessary. In Third Age 1447, Eldacar returned to Gondor, but he came also with a great army comprised of soldiers from Rhovanion as well as Gondorians from the eastern fiefs such as Calenarden and Ithilien, grown restless in the dereliction of Castamir. The two sides met at the crossings of Erui, and in that battle Eldacar was able to slay Castamir, but both sides suffered and much of the best blood of Gondor was spilled on that field. The civil war was not yet over, as the sons of Castamir fled to the nearby Pelargir, and there they were besieged, yet only by land, for the shiplords had the fleet.
So it went that the sons of Castamir and their followers fled the besieged city, and they sailed south to Umbar, and there they set up their own separatist region for a time where they were out of harm's way.
How much did this contribute to the decline of Gondor then? Immediately, Gondor lost much of her army. Whilst the number of casualties is unknown, and I'm not going to go into bigger speculation in this video, but much of what the rebels were seeking to defend would have been lost Númenórean blood. Several members in the House of Anarion were slain, such as Castamir and the son of Eldacar, and whilst this didn't have an immediate effect, it would culminate to become a bit of a problem later in the second millennia, as the nobles of Gondor struggled to actually find an heir to the crown, after the final king rode to his end to meet with the Witch King. On top of this, you had the first reign of Osgiliath, the loss of the fleet, and the formation of a new belligerent in the south that has taken hold of one of Gondor's great havens in Umbar, causing a rift in influence over the lands in the south. It's not until 1810 of the Third Age that King Telumethar Umbardasil takes Umbar and defeats the Corsair rebels once and for all, about 350 years later, during which 2 kings of Gondor were killed during raids.
The good news is that the people of Rhovanion, some of them migrated to Gondor, helping to repopulate the region. Now this did then somewhat dilute the Dunedain blood in the kingdom.
This mingling did not at first hasten the waning of the Dunedain as had been feared, but the waning still proceeded, little by little, as it had before. For no doubt it was due above all to Middle-earth itself, and to the slow withdrawing of the gifts of the Númenóreans after the downfall of the Land of the Star. Although there is even more bad news, as the Great Plague would sweep in from the east 200 years later or so and wipe out up to 50% of the population in some places. Still, the line of kings continued in the present timeline, and the new king Eldacar actually lived for quite a long time, 235 years, thus proving all of the doubters of his blood wrong, as this was pretty irregular with other kings.
That's all, folks. I hope that you enjoy that, and if you want to learn more of the Great Plague, I did make a video about this time last year, but I did make it with like an earphone microphone. I'm not really selling it very well, am I? But the content is there, so if you want to learn more about it, there's the video. But other than that, if you have any more suggestions, then pop them down in the comments. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'm going with Gandalf. Good day. Actually, no, we'll skip that as well.